Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at DynastyDadFF. Joined as always by my main man at FFSnoog. And, we just finished up or almost finished up week 14, which means a lot of you guys are either in the playoffs or you're starting to think about next year's rookie class. It's never too early to do that. This 2026 class, I know a lot of people in the industry are really down on, but there's some real bright spots here that I think have some game-changing prospects, especially at the wide receiver and running back position. Snoog and I are here to just give you a little preview, give you a little taste, see what you can get in those 2026 picks, because all season long, we're going to be giving you guys the information to help you guys smash your rookie draft. So if you aren't following already, make sure you guys hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Snoog, this class, we've kind of come around on a little bit. I know Dynasty's cyclical. We're like, okay, this class is going to be horrible. Get your 27s. I'm starting to like 5 or 6 really good prospects, and I'm sure more will pop up as we do this entire, process.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that there's a clear top 4 right now. I think there could be 5 and 6 kind of sneaking in there as well. If some of the QBs with good draft capital, maybe the tight end that we're going to be talking about today, maybe RB2 in this class, whoever that ends up being when the draft comes, when there's some situation involved there. But yeah, I mean, I think the top 4 is really good. I think there's a lot of depth at the running back position and wide receiver position this year. I think we lacked depth last year at the wide receiver position big time. Obviously, one of the best running back classes we've ever seen. So it's going to be hard to live up to that. But for a normal running back class, this one's really good. I mean, you got a lot of names there. Obviously, tight end class is pretty solid as well. So overall, not the best class, not 27, not 24 good, but it's up there with, 2022, maybe 2025, just below those classes overall. But not a ton of depth, but love it.
There is a prize here is worth anything. Everybody, he's worth more than anything in 2025. And I think Jeremiah Love is that guy. You and I have sold for the 101. We've talked about trying to get there because every year the 101 is worth 30 to 50% more than the 102. This year, it's probably double, unless one of the wide receivers gets a really nice landing spot. This is someone that when you look at his, production profile mixed with his size comparison, he's very similar to a Travion Henderson, a Bijan Robinson. He has everything that it takes. 6 foot, 206, so he's a little bit on the smaller side. I think he's going to beef up a little bit, but my man runs a 4.40. Like he is, last weigh actually was 214, but someone that's probably going to test in those low 4.4s, someone that honestly I think deserves the Heisman, especially after Notre Dame got screwed here. Track speed, unbelievable contact balance, pass catching. This guy does it all. This is going to be your 3-down workhorse. And what's different from 2025 and 2026, 2025 was you got Genty went to the Raiders, which was arguably one of your worst case scenarios. There are some decent teams when I'm talking offensively, like the Bengals and some of these other teams that are going to finish with the top 10 pick who could add a Jeremiah Love. And this guy, I already have as my Dynasty RB3. I know you do as well. It's Gibbs, Bijan, then Jeremiah Love. We're that confident in this prospect.
I mean, he's a game-changing talent, right? You look at his back-to-back years as the starter in Notre Dame, 1,100, 1,300 yards rushing, 20-plus total touchdowns in both seasons, 28-plus receptions in both seasons utilized there in the receiving game as well. And then the advanced stats that just look phenomenal, 56-plus missed tackles force in both seasons, 4.4-plus yards after contact per attempt in both seasons. That's where he excels, right? The vision, the patience behind the line of scrimmage. It's poetry watching him run the football. Reminds me a lot of Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers, kind of that patient, let the defenders make the mistake and then take advantage of their angles and bad pursuit. Really, really patient runner. Would be phenomenal in his own run scheme. He also has that home run speed, right? And that's something that we talk about Jahmyr Gibbs has and some of these other guys have. He's constantly popping off big touchdowns. He's great in the red zone. He's powerful. He's strong. He has insane contact balance. He's a do-it-all back, right? He's a blue-chip prospect. Every year we get that. We had the Bijan and Gibbs. We had Brees. We had, Ashton Genty last year. I think he's closer to a Bijan Bijan and Gibbs and Genty than he is a Brees and some of those other running backs coming out. He's really, really good, Dad. He's the clear-cut 101 for me. I have 6 Jeremiah Love shares coming my way this season. Again, a guy that I think is going to be a top 10 pick. Rams, Bengals, some of these really good teams that need to elevate their run game could use that luxury pick on a player like this to take their team over the top.
There is not a clear-cut RB2, but there are several solid running backs. We're going to start here. And again, we're going to start the entire process. this is your perfect time to get into the Patreon. There's the link down below. We hit rookies from now until your rookie draft, whether that be May, June, July, whatever it is, to help you smash, to avoid drafting the bust scenarios like your Quentin Johnstons and some of those other guys. We have literally hit on our rookies at an unbelievable rate. So give it a shot. Check it out. The next guy here we're going to talk about is Jonah Coleman. You look at him, 5'9", built like a bulldozer. I mean, he is someone that gives you much more size. Yep. 22 years old. I think he has a little bit more wiggle than people give him credit for. He's built like a bulldozer, but he has some pass receiving ability. He has some wiggle. 396 carries, Snoog, with just one fumble. So he's got tremendous ball security. At 228 pounds, I mean, he's in that 86th percentile, someone that could come in. And, I don't think he comes in as a 3-down workhorse, but he's someone that has those capabilities that could eventually take over. I know a lot of people look at him very similar to how we saw Blake Corum come out, maybe even like a Sean Tucker plus. Nothing elite, but really good at a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think I see a lot of Bucky Irving and Cam Scatterbo in his game, right?
Okay, so even more.
Runs through your face, breaks a ton of tackles, excellent after contact. I think he had a season with 5+ yards after contact per attempt back in his Arizona days in the Big Ten or in the Pac-12, but in 2023, even with Washington, he's been extremely efficient after contact. Used great as a receiver this year. He's been banged up this year, so the numbers haven't been screaming out the roof, but he still has like 17 total touchdowns and has been a big reason why this team wins. But I mean, you can't tackle the guy in a phone booth, right? Like he is extremely polished with his footwork, his vision, his processing skills at the line of scrimmage. I really enjoyed watching him. A lot of the same stuff I liked about Bucky Irving and Cam Scatterbo I saw in Jonah Coleman's game. The advanced metrics are really good as well. The analytics look good. So I think he's a guy that checks a lot of boxes. It's just going to come down to draft capital, right? If he can get day 2 draft capital or early round 4 draft capital and fall in a situation he loves, I could see Liam Cohen taking this guy in round 3 or 4 all day long if they don't extend Travis Etienne to be that 2-down grinder for them.
The next guy I like, and I think I like him a little bit more at this point, 5'11", 210 pounds, 2 years at Alabama, then he transfers out. Justice Haynes has a lot of tools that I like. He's a guy that is going to finish in the top 5 when it comes to running backs drafted this year. Someone that I think has a lot of flash, someone that in this next year's class. Again, draft capital is going to matter for all these guys. We're just kind of giving you a brief preview. I think we're really confident in Jeremiah Love. And then we have like 4 or 5 guys here we like, and then we're going to really hammer some of these wide receivers because the wide receivers are really strong. But talk to me a little bit about Justice Haynes. Justice Haynes, we have him transfer to Michigan. He looks really good, kind of had a little bit of ups and downs, but overall, I like what I see on the tape.
He was playing extremely high-level football this year for the Michigan Wolverines. 875 yards in like 6-7 games, 7 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns. He was pacing, a 1,500 yard season, probably 15 to 20 touchdowns, hyper efficient runner. He's, to me, a really good first and second down back. I don't love him in the receiving game. I don't really think there's much there in terms of like being a dynamic weapon at the next level. But like that, 1 and 2 down grinder, that guy that is just a super talented, pure rusher. I'm trying to think of like a good NFL comp of kind of where I'm at with him. Almost like, gives me a little bit of like a better prime Miles Sanders vibe, like can hit home runs, good between tackles, rusher, maybe like a better like Jordan Howard. He's just really explosive. He's kind of like a baby, small Nick Chubb. I feel like it's like a good comp for him. Like just a really good between the tackles runner, hits the hole hard, great gap scheme runner. He was on a pace to have a really good season and probably lock in day 2 draft capital. I don't know. I think he does go to the draft. I think there's still a chance he maybe goes back to school again, but I think he's going to go to the draft for sure with this class and probably be a day 2 pick. Another guy, it's pick your flavor in this class with the running backs. And that's what I've been telling a lot of people in the Discord, Dad, is like, one's really good at this, one's really good at that. It's going to be whatever NFL team's like, all right, I need a pure down. Like the Texans could use a Justice Haynes, right? Or, the Jags could use a Jonah Coleman. Like it's going to be what does this team type of running back need to kind of elevate their run game and take it to the next level.
You talked about Miles Sanders, which makes me think Penn State. And now a guy that last year was in that same tier as like right underneath Quinshon Judkins. We're like, this guy's part of that 2025 class, runs, a 4.39, someone that's got the size, 6 foot, 224. Nick Singleton this past year, disappointed. You could argue Kaytron Allen was you don't need to argue. Kaytron Allen was better.
Yeah.
He was better. We could see both of these guys enter the draft, but let's talk about Singleton first, because I think this is that guy where, we saw it in 2024. The tape was phenomenal.
Yep.
He looked unbelievable. I think he's going to be the steal of a lot of rookie drafts because people are going to forget about him. He's going to be out of sight, out of mind.
I could talk about this guy all day long, right? I've been really spending a lot of time trying to figure out what the hell happened in this Penn State offense and backfield. The match was set up to be divorced from the start with Nick Singleton in this Penn State offense. They're going to be more polar opposites of a skill set, trying to be a between the tackles grinder. That's why Kaytron Allen's been better, right? He's so much more fit for that offense. Nick Singleton, I'll go out and say it right now. He's the best receiving back in this class, and it's not close. He's the best athlete in this class, and it's not close. His career at Penn State was really good, Dad.
But yeah,
he had 1,000 yards as a true freshman. Only other two to do that in the past couple draft classes was Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Nick Singleton. Like, we've been knowing he's that guy. True home run speed, insanely good receiver, home run hitter, like strong, 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds, like track star. NFL is going to love this guy, right? He's going to come into the combine, blow the doors off it, jump out the gym, run a 4.3 40, and he's probably going to go in the round 2 of the NFL draft because the team's going to look at this guy and say, this guy could elevate our offense. Like, if you just look at what Penn State was trying to do, there was so much going bad. Fired the head coach midseason, a lot of injuries, right? Like, they couldn't find their identity this season. He still had two 1,000-yard seasons at Penn State, absolute touchdowns. I think he's the leading touchdown scorer in Penn State history. So that's another plus with all the NFL talent that they've been pumping out. I said it on Twitter, like, it was just a match made for divorce from the beginning, right? So I think that he's going to be better in the NFL than he was in college football.
Yeah, and Allen's got a lot of upside as well. Kaytron Allen, took over. He's a thick, powerful lower half, someone that has a ton of upside, ton of experience. Talk to me a little bit about Kaytron Allen.
Yeah, he's really good because he's dynamic as a between the tackles runner. Like, I see a lot of Dave Montgomery, Cam Scatabo-ish in his game. Not as much twitch as those guys, but take what's there, pick up 4, 5, 6 yards, run through your face. He's very shifty for his size. Super efficient 2-down grinder, right? Like, the Texans need this type of player. The Chiefs need a player like this, like that banger between the tackles. He's also just a really good player in general. I think he's going to be one of those guys, deserves to be a top 5 running back in this class, should go day 2. And I think he's a talent that, is going to go underrated because he's like Singleton with the touchdowns. He's the leading rusher of all time in Penn State history. So I think the two of these guys we were saved from the value on these guys with the season they had, right? Like, I think if they both went out and Penn State was insane and they both put up dominant seasons, I think everyone would have been kind of like, all right, this is just lock them in as first round rookie picks. Now we're looking at, early second round, maybe mid second round rookie picks for us in our rookie drafts. That's going to be an absolute value for us because Kaytron Allen, he's just so complete as a between the tackles runner. Not much dynamic ability and home run speed, but he's David Montgomery light, in my opinion.
What's interesting for me is, we talk about two guys from Penn State. I honestly think there's two guys from Notre Dame. I prefer Jadarian Price. I think he's got a ton of upside. He's a little bit more, he's got workhorse potential. He's 5'11", 209. He's got track speed and that 4.4s. Like, this is another guy that, if he comes out, we're going to see some electric type plays from him. I like him a lot. I look at him a lot like Bashal Tutin, someone that's just going to have a phenomenal combine. I think he's going to rise up in value more so than where people are at, thinking that he's the RB2 in a situation. I think he's going to be someone that could really rise up the boards for sure. Talk to me about another running back in this class, because there's a lot of them. There's obviously there's Devin Claiborne, who I like a lot, Darius Taylor, who's another guy that people should definitely pay attention to before we move to the wide receivers.
Yeah, I would just say Emmett Johnson right now, right? Like, he is being thrown around as a Heisman candidate. Obviously, Nebraska didn't have the season that they deserved, but he feels a lot like that player that is going to lock in day 2 draft capital based on the season he had. I mean, he was just so good as a missed tackles force machine, had over 70 of them, was super good as a runner as well. He had like 1,700 all-purpose yards and 15-plus touchdowns. Great in the receiving game as well. He's a guy that could end up having a ton of steam and get a ton of, hype heading out through the process. and end up being a guy that goes, round 2, round 3 in the draft. Again, a guy with back-to-back 40-plus receiving or reception seasons as a running back in a run-heavy offense. Like, I think Emmett Johnson's a guy, one of the shiftiest backs in this class, probably ends up a top 3 to 4 running back when it's all said and done in this class because he's super shifty, great in space.
And I like Hollywood Smothers as well. Someone that shows a lot of acceleration through the zone, someone that has great contact balance. He transferred out this year. He looked fantastic. He kind of just sat there behind and ended up looking like someone that's going to be a fantastic prospect at the next level. What do you like about his tape?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit smaller, slimmer of a back, but he's shifty, great in the receiving game as well. I think his best feature is like being able to make defenders miss without wasting any movement. Like, he reminds me a little bit of Jonathan Brooks coming out of Texas, and I know people aren't going to like that, but kind of like the best thing about Jonathan Brooks' game that I liked, and same with a guy like Aaron Jones in the NFL, they don't look super twitchy. Like, they don't have to make you think that they're super twitchy and elusive to make you miss. Like, it's just one quick sidestep and he's past you, right? And I think Hollywood Smothers has done a great job at that and just being a workhorse for his frame in college. Like, a lot of the times you see these guys kind of splitting carries, a little bit lower on him than others. I know some people have him as like a top 3 running back in this class. I don't think he's up there, but a guy I could see kind of in that 1-2 punch type backfield, good in the receiving game, quick player, smaller but shiftier, quicker player that can win in space for a team. So definitely a guy that deserves to be in this combo.
Early on, everybody talked about the running backs being the prize of this class, and I do think Jeremiah Love is. But Snoog, when you start to look at the 25 versus 26 class, this wide receiver class is honestly right on par, if not better. I mean, obviously we had Hunter, we had Teteroy McMillan, we had Igbuka, but I mean, Jordan Tyson looks fantastic. Makai Lemon, Chris Brazel, Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, Chris Bell, even KC Conception. I mean, there's a lot of nice wide receivers. Who is your wide receiver 1 of the class if you had to draft today?
Of course, I'm going to go with my guys, Carnell Tate. It's always a Ohio State wide receiver 1 for me when we're having these discussions, it feels like, but they're just pumping out talent left and right. I think he's the most complete Alpha X wide receiver 1 in this class. Missed a couple games, but was on pace to clear 1,000 yards, 17-plus yards per reception, close to a 90-plus PFF grade. Yards per route run through the absolute roof. It's like 3.5 plus per game. Those metrics and stats playing alongside the best wide receiver prospect we've probably ever seen in Jeremiah Smith is pretty impressive for this type of offense. So many mouths to feed. Doesn't matter. Carnell Tate goes out there and produces. My favorite part about his game, a little bit of a comp. I think he's a lot like a Devontae Smith and George Pickens type of player, like just the way he wins. Excellent on the boundary and working the sideline. He gets his feet in every single time he's catching the sideline. He wins just one-on-one coverage and one-on-one 50-50 jump balls like it's his job, right? Like, he's open even when he's not open. He's 6'3", 200-plus pounds. He moves so well for his size. T. Higgins, Drake London, Rome Odunze, all these type of big body Alpha X wide receivers that move like that. They've all been translating. Carnell Tate's another one of them. He's also one of the best route runners at that position, coming out at 6'3", 6'4" in a while that I've seen. So he moves extremely well. I mean, the metrics, the film, everything stands out. He's going to be a top 10, top 8 pick, in my opinion, in the NFL draft.
Yeah, and I'm not going to steal your guy here because I know that I think there's a big 3, and I think Jordan Tyson, without the injuries, to me, if he's got a clean bill of health the whole way through, he's the clear-cut Dynasty wide receiver 1 out of this class. But the injuries did pile up. I mean, I see a lot of his. You said Pickens for Tate. I see some Pickens, some JSN type opportunities here for a guy like Jordan Tyson. Great elite separator, someone that's going to get open all the time. Outside receiver, someone that I think really is going to add to the Dynasty landscape. These 3 big guys at the top with Lemon, Tate, and Tyson, they have top 15 Dynasty wide receiver upside. I mean, with their age, they're all 21, 22 years old. I think he's 21.3 right now. Tyson's got a lot to his game that I like at 6'2", 200 pounds.
Yeah, the next guy I think rounds off the top 4 rookie picks as of right now: Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, and Jordan Tyson. Makai Lemon, it's hard to not have a show like this and have him be kind of the face of it right now with what he's done. He's probably the clear-cut Biletnikoff winner right now. He averages over 3+ career yards per route run for UFC, for a team that just constantly is producing out NFL wide receiver talent. That's like we talk about Ohio State, LSU, Bama. USC's up there too, right? They're always pumping out their NFL talent at the position. Mekhi Lemon, what does he do good? He's just an every down reliable target. Jarvis Landry, Amon-Ra St. Brown, JSN. He's like a mold of all these guys, right? Like every single down, you can rely on him to get open quickly, make a play across the middle of the field, catches everything thrown his way, works traffic extremely well, can win after the catch, runs good routes. I think he's the most fantasy football friendly out of the 3 wide receivers we're talking about right now. But I do think his situation matters the most out of the 3 of them, if that makes sense. So, like, I think his floor is really high, but I think for him to hit that next, like, Amon-Ra level or something, I'd love to see the Houston Texans somehow land him, but it's out of the picture, right? He's going to go top 15, so he's probably going to go to one of these teams that really doesn't have anybody, but just a guy that's a space creator, catches everything. He's been playing lights out. Big reason why that team's winning. So Mekhi Lemon, another top 10 to 15 NFL draft pick, in my opinion, this year.
So we hit on about 5 running backs. I want to hit on five or 6 wide receivers here. That's your big 3, right?
Yeah.
I want to see where you're at in number 4. Is I have my guy. I want to know who your guy is.
I'm between Denzel Boston and Kevin Concepcion. They're so close for me right now. I think they're both just extremely high-level players. I think they're both first-round NFL talents as well. I'll talk a little bit about Denzel Boston here just because I think he fits like that Carnell Tate mold that I've been talking about, right? A 6'3", strong-framed Alpha X receiver. You can move him all over. He can win out of the slot, wins with footwork, wins with smoothness. I see a lot of Chris Olave, Rome Odunze in his game, right? Just a bigger, smooth route runner that just catches everything thrown his way. Like 50-50 balls, he's winning. He's mossed a ton of people in the red zone. He also wins downfield with speed. Like, just a complete player. I think he's a guy that's going to find himself as a first-round talent. Again, Washington pumping out NFL talent recently. He's another one that was, stuck a little bit behind some of these elite-level Washington wide receivers, McMillan, Rome Odunze, Puka Nacua, some of these guys back in the day. But right now, Denzel Boston just playing at a really high level, Dad, averaging 2+ yards per route run this year, pacing over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns without injury. So he's a really good player, in my opinion, that can win at all 3 levels.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where some of these prospects go because some of them are looking like they're getting late round 1 draft grades, which is going to be a huge separator. Other ones, as long as I see a lot of these guys going at least in the 2nd round. I mean, you talked about Denzel Boston. Chris Bell looks really good. Jacoby Lane at times. I like Chris Brazzell. Like there's a lot of wide receivers in this class that are going to really provide at that next level, which we're super excited about. We're going to continue to hit on. But if there's one guy that I think really would belong in this area it's at the tight end position. Kenyon Sadiq has looked phenomenal at Oregon. This year's class, we just covered our foundational tight end class. The tight ends from 2025 were fantastic, but we're going to get Sadiq, Claire, Stowers. There's some decent guys there. My brother, Joe Royer, you know what I mean? Like we would go there, but honestly, Sadiq is someone that I think is going to go mid first round of your Superflex drafts. And I think he's going to be that next guy that we really want to invest in.
Yeah, he's like a baby Trey McBride, Colson Loveland, Tucker Kraft, like yak machine built like he's a 240 plus pound monster, 6'3", yak machine, wins contested catches. You can use him as a chess piece, deploy him in the slot, deploy him on the outside, deploy him in line, kind of use him as an all-around piece to elevate an offense. I think he's going to go top 20 in the NFL draft. Would love to see, I wish he slipped more and could go to Denver, Houston, one of these teams that really needs this, every down safety blanket yak machine to elevate their offense. But I really don't think he falls into the late 20s. I think he's going to be a guy that goes in the top 20 with a big combine because he's a crazy athlete.
What's interesting is I think we're going to see a lot better prospects as we continue to dig through the tape. We just wanted to bring you a quick synopsis here of those guys before we end it out. Let's talk about the quarterbacks because the quarterbacks are not, in my opinion, a sexy class, but we're also looking at potentially like 3 first-round quarterbacks. And, I think it's more based off of need, but you see guys like Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, and Fernando Mendoza, all of them in that Heisman conversation, all of them potentially going to quarterback-needy teams like the Jets, like the Browns potentially. Like a lot of teams here could be vying for a quarterback. Who's your favorite from this class?
I really like Dante Moore a lot. I think he has the best tools. I think Mendoza is the best. I think Mendoza is the most pro ready to start week 1. I think Dante Moore has a higher ceiling. I think Mendoza has a higher floor. I don't think either of them are game-changing, like true franchise-changing talents. But I think they could both be top 15 to 20 QBs. A lot like, the Bo Nix, the Michael Penix, the J.J. McCarthy's, the Cam Wards coming out. I think they're in that mix, maybe slightly better. But I do think that Dante Moore, I love his throwing motion. He reminds me a lot of Stroud, Dak Prescott, just a sniper out of the pocket. Can move a lot better than Mendoza, in my opinion, in terms of just moving around the pocket, not being as much of a statue. But I think that he can throw downfield at a high level. I think he has the best touch and accuracy in the class. I just don't think he reads a defense as well as Mendoza. I don't think his processing skills are as high, but I think it's going to be them two at the top.
Yeah, and Simpson isn't super far behind.
I think he goes
but again,
back to school.
You think he does? I don't know. A lot of reports have him as an early
saying
first.
He's going to go to the draft. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the interesting part with talking about rookies this early. But we wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste there. Give you
I
a
got a
little bit
game
of
for
idea.
you real quick. Give me a little over under for each position. Running backs taken in round 1.
1.
Wide receivers.
4.
I think I'm at 5. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say 5, but I was like,
I think the big three, Boston and Concepcion, are going to sneak in there. What about QBs? 3? 2?
Yeah.
Tight end.
3. Because, I mean, what really was interesting is these guys came out last year. I mean, Drew Aller definitely would have been. Nussmeier was someone that people were talking about. There's a lot of quarterback. Lenora Sellers was like everybody's Superflex 101, 102. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that could, even Sam Levitt, Kate Klubnik. There was a lot of guys that really were highly rated. At tight end, 1.5.
Yeah.
I think 2 might go if you really talk about a tight end needy team. What's really fun about this is you can tell when Snoog and I start to talk prospects, we start to light up. If you guys want to be a part of a community where we're talking about these prospects from now until May, where you get to jump in, see what's going on. I have ranked every single player in, top 12s at every position. I've ranked them comparative to 24 and 25. So you have an idea of who you get, where you see, okay, well, this is what the prospects were in 2024, 2025. I know what those guys are. How do they compare to 2026? If you guys like that kind of stuff, check it out again, patreon.com/smashaccept. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the process.